Olá, boa noite. O Exou Biribó, hoje com o vídeo 4 de Broken Sword, A Sombra dos Templários. Ontem, George trabalhou um bocado, descobrindo que Ken, o assassino do disfarce, por último alugou uma fantasia de duende. Ou seja, haverá uma quinta vítima após Arno, Yamada, Carchon e Plantar, todos ricos e poderosos, mas aparentemente sem ligação entre eles. Embora a Bá sempre diga que tudo no mundo tem uma ligação. George também recuperou o documento que Khan roubou ao levar a valise do Plantar na explosão do café. É um pergaminho dos Cavaleiros Templários com estranhas inscrições que parecem enigmas, dicas para a localização de algo. O tesouro dos Templários jamais encontrado? Algum segredo místico? Nicole mandou George conversar com o especialista em Idade Média, professor Lobinot, no museu. Como ontem, no final da história dos Templários, parecia uma falha minha num corte abrupto de vídeo, eu fui conferir na internet, mas o defeito é desta versão do diretor. Acontece em todas as gameplays que eu vi na internet dessa versão acontece o mesmo. Só dá para ver sem defeitos no game original de 1996, que vou passar agora para vocês. Até porque a Bá reclamou, e isso é incrível, mas às vezes ela reclama, a Bá reclamou que não entendeu nada da Nicole falando em espanhol e ainda por cima com sotaque francês. Aproveitando então a oportunidade, eu passo um trecho um pouquinho maior para que possam ver também algumas das diferenças em relação a essa versão do diretor mais moderna. Como, em vez de carregar, por exemplo, o jornal, ele fazia anotações no envelope usado que ele tinha no bolso. Anotava os telefones, anotou aquela coisa do El Saladin, tudo naquele envelope. Vejam também como era o mapa com as localizações no jogo original de 1996. Também como eram mais legais os rostinhos das personagens, principalmente nas cenas em que falam conversando por telefone. E, por fim, a maior perda de todas nessa nova versão do diretor, em relação ao jogo original, que eram as vozes dos dubladores originais. O vídeo eu retirei do canal do YouTube Full Playthroughs.
Bonjour, Kula.
Oh, hi. It's George Stobart, the American at the cafe.
Ah, oui.
You said to call if I could help.
Have you any news for me?
You bet. I met a witness who spoke to the clown. And I know where the killer gets his suits.
No kidding. Hey, I'm impressed.
You are? Well, it wasn't easy.
Look, why don't you come here to my apartment?
Fine. Where do you live?
361 Rue Jarry.
Okay, I'll come right over. You're just not going to believe what I've found.
It's not another part of the clown's costume, is it?
It's a medieval manuscript. Khan left it in the safe at the Ubu.
It's incredible. Is this what he took from Plantark?
It could be, which means it's worth enough to kill for.
Look there, two guys on the same horse.
Oh, yeah. Maybe they couldn't afford one each. What of it?
Have you ever heard of the Knights Templar? Their official seal was an image of two knights sharing a horse. Whatever this manuscript means, it's connected with the Templars.
How come you know about these knights?
I learned about them while writing an article on the Crusades. This guy, named Hughes de Payen, arrived one day at the court of King of Jerusalem. He offered to protect the Christian pilgrims from the displaced Muslim armies. The king would be able to guarantee safe transit to Christians in the Holy Land. Safer journeys meant more pilgrims, and pilgrims meant trade and wealth. The Templars proved invaluable to the king as a mercenary army. It was said that they never asked how many the enemy numbered, just where they were. And as the years went by, the Templars grew in wealth and numbers. They were so rich, even kings came to them for loans. But at the height of their power, they fell foul of the King of France. He rounded them up and turned them over to the Inquisition. Thousands of Templars were subject to torture and confessed to heresy. Of course, at the hands of the Inquisition, there wasn't much they wouldn't confess to. The last Grand Master Jacques de Molay was burned alive. But the treasure of the Knights Templar was never found.
Jeez. So the treasure is hidden, waiting to be discovered?
If there ever was a treasure, it's been lost for 600 years. Anyway, we're supposed to be investigating a serial killer, not a medieval treasure trove.
But maybe that's what the clown and his accomplices are after. Maybe this manuscript is the key.
You'd better leave it here for safekeeping. Think about it, George. One guy's already died for it, as you said yourself. Besides, that parchment is fragile.
Okay, I'm convinced. You keep hold of it. Let's take another look at the manuscript.
Let's face it, we need help, George. Someone who knows about these things.
Who do you suggest? Indiana Jones?
I know a guy who specializes in medieval studies. His name is Lobino.
Huh. Some stuffy old fossil who gets horny over ancient relics, I suppose.
Far from it. Andre isn't the stereotypical professor you have in mind.
Where can I find this Lobino guy?
At the Kroon Museum. I'll give you the address.
There's a woman looking at her reflection in a mirror, but the reflection has 3 hideous faces.
She reminds me of the wicked queen in Snow White.
She was the one who said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall," wasn't she? She made me cry so much when I was a kid, Mom carried me out of the movie theater.
She didn't frighten me in the least.
Like I said, I was only a kid. I didn't like the crocodile in Peter Pan either. A knight with a crystal ball. Now, there's something written on the scroll beside the knight.
Yes, but it's written in Latin. Per disciplinam mea lux videbis.
By my teachings, you will see the light.
You speak Latin? Where did you learn a trick like that?
A trick? I studied law, okay? I can read Latin.
My, you're touchy. Tell me that again.
Through my teachings, you will be enlightened. There's a guy working on a loom. He's weaving a carpet or a tapestry.
Or a duvet cover. It's a clue to a place, I reckon. Somewhere famed for weaving and ships.
Where folk live in barrels?
It beats copper boxes.
There's a guy with a sword and a bull.
The only mythological bull I know of is the Minotaur, but he was only half bull.
I don't think I'd like to be half a bull, even if it was the bottom half.
What's that object between them?
It looks like a gem on top of a tripod. Maybe I'll check out the Kroon Museum.
I'm sure you'll find it useful, George.
Oh, hi.
Hello, my handsome friend.
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
No, but I can tell you one thing. There's no such place as the Club à la Moute in Paris.
Então agora ele já teve uma informação importante de que não existe esse clube em Paris, que aquela senhora no hotel tinha dito. Descubra primeiro se esse clube é em Paris.
See you later.
That's right, monsieur.
Não é.
Will.
Apesar de preferir a versão original, essa outra roda bem melhor, além de ter toda essa história paralela da investigação da Nicole, que no original não tem. Musée Kroon.
The attendant had an air of self-importance and the kind of steely eyes that never seemed to blink. Pardon me.
Oui, monsieur?
Are you Lobino?
Oh, no. Fancy you mistaking me for him. No. I am the deputy, custodian.
But Labano does work here.
Work? I wouldn't go so far as to call it that. He studies here most days, but as you can see for yourself, not today.
Do you know anything about medieval manuscripts?
Not me, monsieur. I am no scholar, though people often mistake me for one. It is the uniform, I guess. They see the clothes. They are impressed.
And they ask you to park their cars?
They ask me to park the... No. They assume I am an authority on the exhibits in my care.
Whereas you know next to nothing about history.
Of course not. All I am saying is, I am no scholar, not like Monsieur Lobineau.
Ele só cuida das coisas, ele é o responsável e autoridade em cuidar, não em saber a história. Cavaleiros Templários.
Do you know anything about the Knights of the Temple?
No, sir. Not a sausage.
Vamos mostrar as coisas aqui que ele também não vai saber nada.
What does this tool mean to you?
That belongs in a museum.
Pardon?
It is a priceless historical artifact, if I am not mistaken.
No, it's a plain old tool for lifting drain covers. Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, monsieur. Is there any reason why I should?
I guess not.
Nunca viu o Khan. E esse nariz de palhaço, o senhor quer pôr?
Do you recognize this red nose?
I don't think so.
Lenço sujo.
What do you make of this tissue?
It is absolutely disgusting, monsieur.
Nojento. E essa caixa de fósforo, Alamut?
Have you ever heard of the Club Alamut?
Oh, no. I don't frequent places like that.
Do you recognize this ID pass? No.
Dá aperto de mão aqui.
Would you like to shake my hand?
Not while I'm on duty, monsieur.
Não enquanto estou em serviço.
Thanks for your help. A metal rod attached to the wall was connected to the window.
A vara de metal que abre a janela no alto. Em algum momento ele vai precisar fazer isso, mas não é agora, né, que ele já está aqui dentro.
The totem pole looked distinctly out of place in the setting of the museum.
E não adiantou porque o guarda está lá e já fechou aquela janela de volta.
Watch out! You'll have that done on top of us!
Não derrube o totem.
It was an ancient Egyptian sarcophagus with a beautifully painted effigy of its owner on the lid.
Leave it alone. That closet is over 3,000 years old.
Closet? It's a sarcophagus.
Esse armário tem 3.000 anos. Ai, é um sarcófago. Tripé aqui, tinha tripé no pergaminho.
In the case was a spindly tripod, blackened with age and pitted with rust. It was identical to the tripod pictured on the manuscript. A notice identified it as 15th century from Western Ireland. It had been found in Loch Marne at the site of a Knights Templar preceptory. Ireland!
What's that?
This tripod was found in Ireland.
I will have to ask you to keep your voice down.
I'm sorry, I was excited.
Na Irlanda, num local de castelo de templários. Tudo a ver, então. E o que ele vai fazer? Pegar o...
As I reached toward the display case, a shrill piping filled the air. I froze, then tried to get myself together and act nonchalantly.
No, monsieur. No, no.
Okay.
Volta ao apartamento de Nico.
Hi, I've been to the Kroon Museum.
Did you speak to Lobineau?
No, he wasn't there.
Perguntar do pergaminho de novo? Não, tripé.
I found the tripod.
Where?
In the museum. It belonged to the Templars. It was dug up in Ireland at a place called Loch Marn.
I have heard of Loch Marn. I read an article about the castle. Take a look for yourself.
A popular gossip magazine? You read that rubbish?
No, I write it.
Professor Nigel Pegram, excavating the medieval castle at Loch Marn. That's strange.
What?
He resigned his chair at Durham University in order to devote his time to the excavation. Not only that, but he canceled the filming of a 4th series of his popular television program. This site at Loch Marn must be awful important to him.
He's a professor of history. They're all cuckoo.
All the same, I'd like to talk to this Professor Pegram. How do you feel about a trip to Ireland?
Disappointed.
Huh?
That I won't be going. I want to follow up the Bellotta case. If you really think Picram's gem is important, why don't you visit Loch Marn?
On my own? I'm not so sure about that. Where is Ireland exactly?
Ele não sabe nem onde é a Irlanda, por isso que ele não quer ir sozinho. A música ficou alta demais?
Have you found out any more about the murders?
Well, it may be nothing, but both the clan's victims visited Paris earlier this year.
When?
The second week of July. They were both here at the same time.
Did they meet?
I don't know, but I can't imagine it was coincidence.
I have to go.
Okay, I'll see you later.
Agora eu posso ir para o aeroporto. Irlanda. Umas horas depois...
Pasé por delante del castillo mientras me dirigía a Loch Marn, el castillo donde estaba la excavación de Pico.
Enquanto ele ia para a cidade, passou pela escavação do Pegram, no castelo fora da cidade.
The lad was doing his best to express his adolescent aggression. His effort was somewhat diminished by the fringe of milk on his lightly feathered upper lip.
Adolescente aqui.
Hi there.
What?
What's your name, kid?
Who are you calling kid? Who the hell are you?
Ainda tá alta demais a música? Eu baixei bastante, viu?
I'm George Stobart, and I'm with the good guys.
You're a head case, mister. A few sandwiches short of the picnic.
Cut the crap and tell me your name.
Liam McGuire.
What are you doing hanging around the bar, McGuire?
I'm on the run. From me dad.
Why? Did you do something bad?
I ain't done nothing, boss.
You can tell me, kid. Is it your dad?
Oh, sir. He drinks. Every last penny. Down his evil throat. And there's me poor old mother, bedridden and dying of presumption. I tried to buy her medicine. Chopped firewood for Father Mahoney till me fingers bled. The old skinflint cheated me too. But I took the pennies he gave me back home. Look, Ma, says I, see what your darling son has earned with his own sweat and blood. When suddenly, me dad appears and grabs the loot. I'm off to Dublin, heavy drinking, says he. Watch out till I get back. That's why I runned away.
Something in the grin on his face told me he wasn't being strictly truthful. Compared to him, Huckleberry Finn was a candidate for Altar Boy of the Year.
Ele inventou uma história triste lá, familiar, mas o George já sabe que isso não é tudo verdade.
What can you tell me about the castle, McGuire?
What do you want to know?
Well, can I get inside?
No, it's locked up.
Does anyone live there?
No. Only, what do you want to know? Oh, nothing.
You know something about the castle you're not telling me, don't you?
No,
What is it you're covering up? Is it something you're scared of?
I ain't scared of nothing.
I'll give you one last chance to tell me about the castle.
Oh, yeah? And what if I don't?
Then I'm taking you back to school.
Oh, there's a ghost. It's called the Phantom of Loch Marn.
Fantasma de Loch Marn.
You're not telling me you believe in ghosts, are you?
Mister, I seen it with me very own eyes. Last Tuesday night, I went up to see what that dig was about. I just reached the top of the wall when I hears this awful noise.
What sort of noise?
A horrible snuffling and snorting, like O'Brien's pig, only worst. It was coming from inside the castle.
Did you find out what was making the noise in the castle?
No fear. I just sat there on the wall like Humpty Dumpty. The moon was cracked and greasy like an old dinner plate. The yard was full of shadows. I could have been hiding anything. I would have gone home, but my legs had lost their stuffing.
Ele foi no castelo de noite, pulou o muro e percebeu que havia alguma presença ali fazendo barulho e que ele acha que é o fantasma e que encostou nele e ele fugiu mais rápido do que a morte.
Did you get to see the ghost?
Indeed I did. And a fearsome sight it is too. I sat on my arse, waited while the moon went down. Then out it comes from the shadows, all grey and tattered and hunched over like an old bent willow. Then I hears this spluttering and splashing and horrible laughter in the dark. I was so scared. Why, I fell off the bloody wall.
I'm sure there's a rational explanation for what you saw at the castle.
There is. The bloody place is haunted.
Explicação lógica, claro que tem. Está enfeitiçado o local.
Have you seen a guy dressed as a clown?
Here in Lochmarn, they all dress like clowns.
The man I'm looking for is a dangerous psychotic.
Jesus. It's just like that film I saw. There's this clown, see? And he's after this kid who saw him kill a guy. He tries to warn the sheriff, only no one believes him. Then, while he's in the tub, the clown cuts him up with a chainsaw.
My God, that doesn't sound suitable for a kid like you.
Who are you calling a kid? I'm 25.
Yeah, right. You're not a day over 14.
Oh no, it's 25 that I am. Married with a car and 3 kids. 10 kids if you count the wives.
Do you know a man called Pegram?
Can you describe him like on the telly in the cop shows?
He's an English archaeologist.
I know the man you mean if he's the one.
Can you tell me where I'd find Pegram?
No, I can't, 'cause he's not here now, but if I sees him, I'll ask him.
Do you know what Pegram was doing in the castle?
Digging for buried treasure. Jewels and gold and skeletons, like in the films.
E esse material aqui, o que você acha?
What do you think this tool is used for?
Lifting drains.
Dead right. How did you know that?
Work experience course at school. That gives me a choice of going down the drains or up the chimney.
You're kidding.
Ele limpa os esgotos e chaminés, então ele conhece a ferramenta.
Have you ever seen this man before?
What a slimy character. No, I never seed him.
Have you ever seen anyone wearing one of these?
Sure. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. That belongs to the killer clown you're looking for.
That's right.
Can I have it?
Sorry. I'm keeping this as evidence.
You should have told the cops.
I did. They weren't interested.
You should run tests on that, mister. You could identify the murderer with a sample of his snot.
Ugh. I don't think so.
Claro que sim. O moleque sabe do exame de DNA e o George Stobart não sabe. Verdade que o jogo era de 96, mas já havia isso.
What does this tissue mean to you?
Nothing.
Muito embora também ele já saiba quem é o assassino, né? Não precisa o teste de DNA para saber que é o Khan.
Do you recognize this matchbook, McGuire?
No, sir. I never seen it before in my life.
Ever heard of Thomas Merlin or the Gruber Electronics Corporation?
No.
Give me your hand.
Get lost.
Oh, come on. I just want to show you a little trick.
No way, mister. I don't do tricks. Father Mahoney told me I'd burn in hell if I did.
I just want to shake your hand, that's all.
No way.
Não vou dar a mão de
See you
jeito
later,
nenhum.
kid.
Okay, mister.
E não quero saber de truques.
The young red-haired guy was plainly nervous about something. My name's George.
Pleased to meet you, mister. My name's Fitzgerald.
What can you tell me about the castle?
There's nothing there. Just an old ruin.
How old?
I really couldn't tell you.
Have you ever explored the castle yourself?
I used to play there sometimes, when I was a kid. Then one of the little uns fell off the wall, broke his head and died. We didn't go there anymore.
You haven't been up there recently?
No.
Do you know Professor Pegram?
He's the archaeologist, isn't he?
That's right. Did you work at Professor Pegram's dig?
What gave you that idea?
Ele quer dizer que não trabalhou na expedição, mas na escavação, mas está tão assustado que deve ter trabalhado, sim. Cerveja?
Can I get you another drink?
Oh, no, thank you. I shouldn't be drinking at all. I'm on tablets for my nerves. More than a pint and I'll pass out.
Tá tomando remédio para os nervos.
What do you think this tool is used for?
Something to do with horses?
Wrong. It's for opening manhole covers.
Oh, really? Well, you learn something every day.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, I'm sure I don't know him.
What does this red nose suggest to you?
Blood.
Why's that?
I used to bleed a lot when I was a kid. Every time there was a playground scrap, I'd end up with a bloody nose. I wouldn't have minded, but I wasn't even involved in the scraps.
What does this tissue suggest to you?
Nothing.
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
No.
Check out this pass.
Thomas Merlin? No, never heard of him.
Shake my hand.
It's a trick, isn't it?
Damn it, you're right. I can't seem to fool anyone.
Não posso enganar
See you
ninguém
later.
com esse truque.
It was a beer-stained piece of toweling.
Uma toalhinha com manchas de cerveja.
It was a beer-stained piece of toweling.
Violinista.
He wasn't listening.
Não está escutando.
The guy sat in the corner as if he was a permanent fixture. Hello there. My name's George Stobart.
Pleased to meet you, I'm sure. I'm O'Brien. Can I help you?
Do you know Sean Fitzgerald?
Yes, I do. What do you want with him?
I want to talk to him about working at the dig.
I can't imagine anyone employing Sean Fitzgerald on a dig. He wouldn't know a post hole from his elbow.
Have you heard of the Phantom?
More than that. I've seen it. And let me tell you, it's a dreadful spectacle.
So it's not just a local legend. There really is a Phantom of Lochmarn.
Oh, no. I was talking about the Phantom of the Opera.
What can you tell me about the castle, Mr. O'Brien?
It's a fine sight now, isn't it? Dates back to the 10th century, you know. Most of the existing building was added much later, of course.
Are the ruins open to the public?
Oh, no, it's much too dangerous. Anyway, there's nothing of interest remaining.
How can I get into the castle?
Well, those walls were built specifically to stop people getting in, Mr. Stobart. But I dare say you'll find a way, if you've the will.
Se tiver vontade e engenho, consegue entrar no castelo. Templários.
Have you ever heard of the Knights Templar?
I most certainly have. A remarkable institution. Did you know? They were the originators of our system of credit. Their financial empire stretched from the Atlantic to the Caspian Sea. With bases in so many countries, they had to establish new methods of fiscal transfer.
So, the Knights Templar were nothing but a bunch of bankers.
I don't get it. Are you saying these Templar guys invented bank charges?
In a manner of speaking, I suppose they did.
What a dirty trick. Didn't anyone try to stop them?
Oh, yes. They were arrested, and many were burnt at the stake.
Good. They bloody well deserved it if they were anything like my bank manager.
Can you tell me about the tripod which was found at the castle?
Now there's a bone of contention and controversy. It was dug up by an Englishman of the archaeological persuasion.
Who was this Englishman?
Professor Pegram, the same man who dug up the gem.
Do you know where I can find Pegram?
You're too late to meet that fella.
Is he dead?
Not that, but he's gone from the village. A sore point with our esteemed host, I might add.
Do you know where Pegram has gone?
I'm sorry, but I don't. He upped anchor in the dark and shipped out before the dawn.
Why did he do that?
Who knows? A guilty conscience or a secret assignation. Whatever the reason, he'll not be missed in Lochmar. Maybe now the fuss about the gem has died down, we can get back to normal.
What can you tell me about the gem which Pegram found?
Now there's a gem which should never have been taken. A man would have to be full of greed to covet that stone. What's your interest in the jewel? You're not a reporter, are you?
Você não é repórter, é? Não.
Oh no.
Thank the Lord for that.
Why has Pegram's departure upset the landlord?
He's lost a paying guest, that's why. More than that, there's the question of an unsettled bill. Poor Michael's seen red over the business, and I don't blame him.
Can you tell me more about the landlord?
Mick Leary? He's what you call a would-be sophisticate. The trouble is, his idea of sophistication extends as far as putting paper in the lavatory.
I never worked out why he did that. It's much too dark in there to read.
That's true. Have you ever run your hand over the back of the door? The graffiti is written in Braille.
Does this tool mean anything to you?
I'd say it was for lifting manhole covers.
Esse também sabe para que serve a ferramenta.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
Nope, I've never seen him before.
O pessoal na Irlanda é mais esperto.
Does this red nose suggest anything to you?
No, it doesn't.
What do you make of this tissue?
I guess that muck on it is grease paint.
É maquiagem.
Does this towel mean anything to you?
Sure, it's one of Leary's towels. Are you planning on stealing it?
Just borrowing it, if you must know.
Só peguei emprestada, não tô roubando a toalhinha.
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
The design is Middle Eastern, I'd say.
Os desenhos são do Oriente Médio.
What can you tell me about this ID pass?
Gruber Electronics. I've never heard of it.
I'd like to shake you by the hand, Mr. O'Brien.
Oh, no, you don't.
Não,
Goodbye for now.
Você não quer, não.
There was a vacant look on his cow-like face that said quite clearly, "Nobody home."
Não há ninguém em casa, cara desse sujeito.
Hi, my name's Stobart, George Stobart.
Hello there, mister. What can I do for you?
Do you know Professor Pegram?
Do I know him? Do I know the good professor himself? No, I don't. I mean, I know who he is, but I don't know him to talk to.
Eu o conheço, mas não de falar com ele.
Can you tell me anything about the castle on the hill?
Oh, I don't know much about anything. You should ask Mr. O'Brien here. He does joined up writing. Would you be one of them history fellows yourself?
Oh no, I'm here on vacation.
What's that?
A vacation part. It's what the Americans call a holiday.
Oh, right. In Lochmarn? You come to Lochmarn for a holiday?
Sure, it's a very pretty place.
Where the hell are you from, mister?
California.
I know it. That's where the prunes come from.
Yeah, amongst other things. Do you know anything about Pegram's excavation?
Only that he didn't have the right tools for the job. What he needed was shovels and a JCB.
Pegram was digging for historical remains, not coal.
Is that a fact? What the hell for?
It's the science of archaeology part. Understanding how people used to live by what they've left behind. One day archaeologists might be digging up our remains.
Imagine that, Mr. O'Brien. I wonder what they'll find.
Well, it won't be arrowheads and beakers. Fast food cartons and favorite condoms, more likely.
Did anyone from the village work at Peagram's Dig?
I tried it myself, but that high and mighty history man called me incontinent. What a nerve. Hadn't I dug more holes than the rest of them put together?
Do you remember seeing Sean Fitzgerald at the dig?
Let me see now. I think me brain box needs a spot of lubrication.
Can I buy you a drink?
You most certainly can.
Give me a drink for my friend here.
Who? Doyle? Has he conned you into buying for him? Shame on you, Patrick. Same again.
Just a point this time, Michael.
1 point of ground coming up.
Do you remember Sean Fitzgerald now?
I can picture the scene as if it was only last week. Come to think of it, it was only last week. Fitzgerald was there all right. Him and a bunch of students. He was speaking with the boss man.
What do you make of this tool?
It's for lifting manhole covers.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
It's a handsome mug on that fella, to be sure. Is he a film star?
What does this false nose mean to you?
No, you're a clown.
Isso.
Does this tissue mean anything to you?
No, boss.
What do you think of this towel?
Now, there's a fine piece of cloth if ever I did see one. Such craft must surely come from linen cupboards of the Vatican itself.
Do you recognize this matchbook?
No.
Does this security pass mean anything to you?
Well, no.
May I shake your hand?
No, you can't.
Well, how come?
Because I'll spill me beer if you do.
Bye for now. The white whiskers on the bartender's flushed face were like garlands on a Christmas tree. The resemblance ended there. The top of his head was too slick and shiny to act as a perch for a Christmas angel. Top of the morning to you.
I beg your pardon.
Well, that's what you Irish say, isn't it?
Do you want something? Or are you just flaunting your xenophobia?
Well, I was trying to be sociable.
Is it a room you're after?
Tô procurando quarto, sim ou não?
That's not a bad idea. Do you have a vacancy?
I could, if you don't mind waiting until the last guest checks out.
No problem. When will that be?
When the undertaker comes to collect him.
Have you served any, clowns recently?
No. You're the first today.
Você é o primeiro palhaço que eu atendo hoje.
Do you know a man called Peagram?
Indeed I do. Are you a friend of his, by any chance?
Oh, no. I'm just trying to track him down.
Me too. That son of a bitch should be locked away.
Did Peagram stay here?
Yes, he did. 6 nights plus breakfast.
I'll try a glass of beer, please.
Is this your first pint of real ale?
Well, I guess so. What's real ale, anyhow?
Beer that's brewed from natural ingredients to traditional methods. It shouldn't be kept under pressure or refrigerated. And finally, it should have a good body and distinctive character.
In other words, it's flat and worn with bits in, and it makes you fall over.
Here's something which might interest you.
It doesn't.
Do you recognize this man?
No, I don't. What do you want with him?
I've got a score to settle.
I don't want any trouble in the bar, mister. If it's a fight you're looking for, see Father Mahoney.
A priest? A man of the cloth?
Sure. And he teaches the boys how to box at the youth club. According to Mahoney, it develops character. Isn't that right, Pat? Didn't he teach you the art of pugilism? Doyle.
Sorry, Michael. I was miles away. What did you say?
Never mind.
Does this false nose mean anything to you?
No. It doesn't.
Does this tissue mean anything to you?
That's disgusting.
Uh-huh. I found it in the sewers.
Well, what's the idea of waving it around in my face? You're worse than old Ron. Put it away, man.
May I borrow this towel?
Sure you can, on one condition.
What's that?
You keep it away from old Ron.
Who's Ron?
That's him in the corner, with the hygiene problem.
Manter a toalha longe do Ron, que é o do canto aqui, que tem problemas de higiene. Espirra e cospe aqui pro chão.
Do you recognize this matchbook?
No, sir.
Do you recognize the name on this card?
No. Should I?
Nah, it was a long shot. Hey, bartender?
Landlord, if you don't mind.
Sorry. Shake my hand, why don't you?
Now, why should I do that? What have you got up your sleeve?
Nothing. Come on, just shake my hand.
Not just now, mister. I have to be careful on account of the health restrictions.
Oh, jeez.
Ele vai passar o jogo tentando
Look, I gotta be going.
Pegar alguém no truque.
The guy sat in the corner as if he was a permanent fixture. I'd been taught not to judge people by their appearance or their clothes or the length of their hair. Nobody ever said anything about runny noses. Hi there, old-timer.
What?
Nasty cold you've got there. As soon as the words left my lips, I regretted them.
Is there such a thing as a cold which isn't nasty? I put the question to Father Mahoney. Father, says I, why were we born to suffer snot?
What did he say?
He said, it's my reward for being out all night like a sinner. Pious prig. Anyway, this is no ordinary cold. 'Tis the hay fever.
Pollinosis?
Thank you. You're not a policeman, are you?
Excuse me?
Police? No. I'd know it if you were.
Do you know Pegram, the archaeologist?
That's the scrawny fellow who was poking around at the castle, isn't it? No, I don't know him.
Ah, e o Pegram passou 6 dias na hospedaria e saiu sem pagar, ou sumiu sem pagar. Por isso o hospedeiro do bar aí tá doido com ele.
Can you tell me how to get into the castle?
Don't even think about it, me bucko. Lochmarn Castle is haunted.
That's what the kid outside told me, but I don't believe it.
Then you're a fool.
Ghosts don't bother me. I still want to visit that castle.
You can't. It's not open to the public.
There's no one around to stop me, is there?
That's right. Nothing human, anyhow.
Nada humano pode impedi-lo de visitar o castelo.
Have you ever seen the ghost?
To be sure. With me very own eyes.
Can you describe the ghost?
It was horrible. A wee stunted beast, long beak, straggly, flappy wings.
Are you sure it wasn't a wild animal? A rabbit or a skunk or something?
Skunk? In Lochmarn? That'll be the day. No, that was a ghost, to be sure.
I think I know what you saw on the castle wall.
I know what I saw.
I don't think so. It was the kid, McGuire.
What?
He was up on the wall last Tuesday night. He thought you were the Phantom of Lochmarn.
Oh!
Viu o adolescente Maguire lá e pensou que era o fantasma. O George matou a charada. Fantasmas não existem, diria o padre Quevedo, parapsicólogo.
What's that you're making?
It's a necklace, me bucko.
Oh, sure. Made out of steel wire?
That's right. A necklace for my pretty one. When my little lover feels it round her slender neck, she'll be mine. All mine.
Colar de arame.
Can I buy you a beer?
Very kind, I'm sure. But I don't drink the stuff Leary sells.
What's wrong with it?
I've seen what it can do.
Can you identify this tool?
No.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
I can't tell without me glasses.
What does this red nose mean to you?
Nothing.
You could make use of this tissue.
Never use them. Those things are unhygienic.
Lenços são anti-higiênicos.
Could you use this towel?
I could, but it wouldn't be much use for anything else.
What does this matchbook mean to you?
Nothing. Go away and stop bothering me.
Take a look at this ID card.
I don't know anything about it.
Hey, would you like to shake my... No, on second thought, forget it.
Para esse ele não quer dar a mão, não.
I'll see you later.
Ele é que não quer.
Mr. Fitzgerald? Doyle told me you definitely worked at the dig. He's seen you there. You might as well admit it.
I knew this would happen. I knew I'd get caught.
I need to talk to Professor Pegram, if he's still alive.
What do you mean? Is he in danger?
Yeah, you too, if I'm right.
You're not from the Social Security.
Hell no. What makes you think that?
Well, I was claiming benefit at the same time I was working for Pegram.
I'm not in a position to make judgments, Sean. That's between you and your conscience. All I want is to talk to Pegram about the gem.
But he's not here!
I know that. But he left that package with you, didn't he? So where did Pegram go?
I don't know. I swear it. He came to see me early this morning. Said he was leaving. He asked me to give this package to a guy called Marquet.
Dá o pacote para alguém chamado Market.
Show me what's in the package, Sean.
I can't do that.
Why not?
I promised the professor.
So what? You didn't have any qualms about your benefit scam. So where's the harm in taking a peek inside Pegram's package?
You don't know these people. I can't. I don't dare.
O cara tá apavorado com esse pacote.
This is your last chance to show me the package, Fitzgerald. I've been patient with you, but now it's time to kick ass.
But he'll kill me.
Who will?
The man from Paris. Jack Marquet. Pegram told me if I gave him the package unopened, I'd hear no more about it. But if I double-crossed Marquet, I'd be dead.
I'll deal with Jacques Marquet. Give the package to me.
No. Why should I trust you? I don't know who to trust anymore. I wish I'd never even heard of the Lochmarn gem. Hey! I just seen a big red...
Get out of here, Maguire. Come back when you're old enough.
What's the lad howling about?
A big red sports car. Sean Fitzgerald's been runned over.
Get out! Noisy little tyke.
Maybe you should send out some medicinal brandy maker.
Oh, yes. And who's going to pay for it?
Not me.
Me too, neither.
Atropelaram o Fitzgerald.
I was telling the truth about Fitzy, mister.
Okay, calm down. Now tell me what happened.
I was standing here, minding me own business, when I saw this beautiful red sports car coming up over the hill.
Venid a ver eso, dije, y para allá que me voy para verlo de cerca. Y entonces Fitzy sale disparado del pub y casi se choca conmigo. Pues bueno, sale pitando hasta la carretera. Bueno, es como si el coche volara hacia él. Era demasiado rápido para el pobre de Fitzy y le dio un porrazo impresionante. Salió volando por encima. ¡Jesús!, dije yo creí que se lo cargaba. Y entonces el conductor sale de un salto y no me podía creer lo que veía en mis ojos.
He was dressed like a bloody pixie.
Vestido de duende. E não matou, ele sequestrou o Fitz. Aqui na batida abriu essa coisa aqui.
The plastic cover had been smashed and broken away, revealing a switch.
Interruptor.
I pushed the switch down, but in doing so it snapped off in my hand. Excuse me.
Yes, sir?
May I have another beer, please?
Certainly, sir. Same again?
Yeah, please. How is this stuff made?
That's the secret of the master brewer, sir. Each barrel is lovingly manhandled in time-honored fashion, suspended on skillfully tied ropes of the finest hemp, lowered into the cellar utilizing the forces of original gravity, like manna from heaven. I'm sorry, but the pump appears to be broken.
I could fix it for you.
I don't think so. This is a job for a professional electrician. Oh well, at least the glass washer is still working. It's not my dear, is it?
Eu sou
It
profissional.
just so happens I'm an electrician. Check out my credentials.
Well, now, isn't that marvelous? Here's a house bedeviled with faulty wiring of a wayward nature. Here's you, an electric man, with a little plastic card to prove it. I still want to see what you can do before I let you touch me beer pumps. You can make a start on the glass washer. When you finish that, will you take a look at the pumps?
It was an electrical plug attached to the glass washer.
Lavadora de copos.
I used all my knowledge of electrical engineering to examine the plug. It was an electric glass washer. It looked even older than the barman. I couldn't see anything obviously wrong with the machine. I figured it must be the wiring.
Por isso que eu vou precisar aquele arame ali.
Hello again.
What?
Ah, so you're making snares to trap rabbits.
That's right. Do you have a problem with that?
Damn right I do. Isn't it painful?
Only if I get me fingers caught.
I'm talking about the rabbits. Do they feel much pain?
You bet.
I'll see you later.
Ah, não, era para pegar aqui.
As soon as the old guy looked away, I grabbed his piece of wire. I replaced the fuse with a piece of wire. I knew it was dangerous, but I was desperate enough to disregard everything I knew about standard safety precautions. Excuse me, Mr. Leary. I fixed your glass washer, no problem.
Bingo! And a blessing to all the saints. A free half-pint to that man, on the house. Now, could you take a look at the beer pumps?
Well, I guess so, but I'm not making any promises.
If you can't fix them, I'll have a riot on me hands.
The pumps are in the cellar, right?
That's right. You'll find a flashlight down there somewhere.
No porão lá embaixo, em algum lugar, tem uma lanterna. Desça lá e ache. Mas onde que tinha a lanterna aqui que ele falou? Ali vai subir, que não tem mais ação para nada. Acho que então ele tem que baixar essa alavanca, subir, mexer na caixa.
I pushed the lever and heard the grating of metal, but nothing appeared to happen.
Ei, Maguire, conte se caiu alguma coisa.
Hey, McGuire.
What?
Did this pixie have a scar on his cheek?
I couldn't see. He was wearing a stupid mask. Are you a special agent?
Sorry to disappoint you, kid, but I'm not. Did Fitzgerald drop anything when he was hit?
I didn't see. It all happened so fast.
Maybe the package fell somewhere out of sight. See you later, kid.
Okay, mister.
Ah, eu abri ali.
I
embaixo.
lifted the trap door, and an overpowering smell of stale beer rose from the cellar below. I looked down on a stone-tiled floor, way too far to jump.
Excuse me.
There was a nasty feeling in my guts I usually associated with light opera. It was Khan. What's the problem?
Did you see what happened here a few minutes ago?
What was that?
A man was involved in an unfortunate accident.
I didn't see anything.
What about the boy?
He doesn't know anything either. The kid, well, you know how it is in these rural communities. Not enough genes to go round. I prayed McGuire had the sense to keep his mouth shut. Was the guy hurt bad?
He's been taken care of, but he thinks he dropped a small parcel. You didn't happen to find it, did you?
If I had, I would have taken it to the police.
Of course. Thank you.
Tá procurando o pacote que caiu. Agora deve estar claro lá embaixo porque ele abriu.
Now I could see. I spotted Mr. Leary's flashlight easily. Then I noticed a flash of light. Something sparkling beneath the open trap door. It was Peagram's gem, all right. A large, uncut blue stone. I guess I was already under its spell.
Did you find it?
What?
Whatever you was looking for.
Yeah. Listen, McGuire. I want you to keep this to yourself.
No problemo. Just chuck us up a crate of lager.
No way. You're not old enough.
We can sell it and make some cash.
Forget it, kid. I couldn't betray Mr. Leary's trust.
I could, for sure. That old misery guts deserves it.
If you want to do me a favor, keep a lookout for that guy in the suit.
Okay. But it'll cost you a packet of chips.
Oh, and shout if you see that Ferrari. It was a rusty faucet. The faucet creaked, coughed, and spewed out a stream of rusty-colored water. I held the towel under the faucet and soaked it with water.
E agora ele já pode ir embora.
The farmer's craggy face was set in a mask of aesthetic appreciation. His feet were set in a pair of manure-caked boots. Hi, do you speak English?
Well, no. What if I was to say no? An implication of cognizance shrouded in denial. A pretty poser of a paradox indeed.
I gave him the look I'd perfected when I was 12 and was going to be the greatest hypnotist of all time. It was a killer.
Are you attempting to hypnotize me, or is it the constipation you're suffering?
I was a little out of practice. What can you tell me about the castle?
Not much, I'm sorry to say. Most of its history is long forgotten. Ah, but if these old stones could only speak, what stories they'd tell. Stories to make your toes curl and your blood run cold. You know, this castle is said to be over 600 years old.
Have you seen Professor Peagram?
No, he's packed up and gone.
Do you happen to know where?
Back in England, I suppose.
Did you happen to see a red sports car down on the road?
I caught a glimpse of a flash of red on the hill and heard the racket. Sure, it was an awful noise. A sports car, you say?
A Ferrari, to be exact.
A racing car? And what was it doing here? The poor fella must have been lost.
The driver of the Ferrari was involved in an accident.
Is that so?
Yeah. He knocked somebody down outside the bar.
What an idiot! How could a thing like that happen?
He was traveling too fast.
So fast, he ran right under the car?
I mean, the car was traveling too fast.
But you'd have thought the idiot could have heard it coming.
Maybe you know the guy who was hit by the Ferrari. His name is Sean Fitzgerald.
Oh, I know him all right. That's me nephew, the idiot responsible for the stacking of my hay cart. Was he killed by the car?
Oh, no. But he has been abducted.
Well, that's a relief now.
Aren't you going to look for your nephew?
What for? From what you say, it's too late.
Well, you could report the matter to the police.
Better not. Besides, what could they do?
Well, they could mount a search.
They have only the one bicycle between them. In a question of superior acceleration, I'd put me money on the Ferrari.
I think you ought to know exactly what Sean has gotten himself into.
I'm not sure I want to know.
But you're his uncle. His own flesh and blood.
You're right, but what can I do? If I'm not here to guard it, some idiot might try to climb the haystack. What a moral dilemma. Stay here and guard this potentially lethal agricultural construction, or to go off in search of the prodigal nephew, the very man responsible for said hazard? It'll need some thinking about.
Why, there's no problem.
You're right. Why didn't I think of it before? We'll demolish the haystack.
You don't have to demolish the haystack to go look for Sean. I'll stay here in your place and warn anyone who's silly enough to climb it.
Marvellous! I think I should start me inquiries in the bar.
He strode off in the direction of McDevitt's bar, leaving me to contemplate the stack of hay.
Fique aí para cuidar do montão de feno.
The stack of hay stopped, short of the top of the wall. Even if I stretched as far as I could, the wall was out of reach. What I needed was a slice or two of Alice's Wonderland. I inserted the end of the lifting key in the mortarless crack and gave it a firm shove. It remained lodged in the wall, jutting out to form a step.
Aqui o estúpido puzzle da cabra. Se ele tenta ir por lá, a cabra... Daí tinha que ter uma indicação, né? Dizendo, quem sabe se eu der a volta, a cabra fique atascada, o bode fique atascado. Assim.
The rope by which the goat was tethered had become tangled on the old plowshare. The sack contained a fine white powder. As I dipped my fingers into the soft white powder, I realized what it was. Plaster of Paris. I'd used it in kindergarten to make casts of animal paw prints. It was a statue which had fallen from its place on the wall. 5 fingers of stone projected from the back of the carving. The statue was too heavy to lift. It overbalanced into the sand. As I swung the stone upright, I noticed it had left a pattern of holes in the sand.
Agora com o gesso e a água da toalha eu faço molde aqui, como o Gabriel Knight ensinou com a pata do lobo.
I sprinkled the plaster on the sand until the holes were filled. The trickle of water was quickly absorbed by the plaster. My improvised plaster cast was slowly drying out. I eased the solid piece of plaster from the sand. Underneath, it had formed a perfect copy of the statue.
Painel não se mexe.
The hardened plaster cast fitted snugly into the 5 matching sockets. There was a soft thud, then silence.
Montfaucon. De noite, de volta a Paris, vamos ficando por aqui. O Exou Biribó, agradecendo a presença, o apoio, as dicas, a torcida, desejando boa noite, até amanhã. Por enquanto eu fui.